Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to Colours of Nature Art. And if you've just joined me, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for stopping by. And today we are looking at the embellishment of the signatures. Last time we had a pile of papers. Those have now dropped down to 4 signatures. So it's starting to look a little bit more like a journal now. And I've altered some of the pages, and I thought I'd just show you what I've done so far. So let's start with the first signature. I found that I didn't have enough of the big double-sided pages, so there will be some in here that you haven't seen. So I haven't done very much with some of it. This I just put some marks on with vintage photo, but this is actually from 1903, I think it was, or 1901. So that is already old in and of itself. Now this was an interesting one. This was where we had material, and I'd stamped on the material, and it was blind material for making roller blinds, and it just kept doing that. So I've put a magnet in there, and that now stays flat. And that's just one of my little, I call these my cotton fluff people. They're quite fun. Got a little feather in his hat. So that's just going to be a sort of secret tuck spot that you can just open and then close onto that. And then the magnet, which is just in there, you can't really see it, which is good, is hidden under there. So I just did a bit of stenciling with modelling paste through there with a willow stencil, and made a vellum pocket with bit stamping on it. So it's not completely finished, the pages, but they're getting there. And then this is one of my designs, my little mouse. And I don't really think I want to do very much more to that page. Maybe a few splatters or something, and I've got to go around the edges. But I just want to keep that a simple page. And this was just stamping onto some cotton material. And I've used the Tim Holtz little tiny mini paper clips. I love those. So that was that page. And I thought that goes opposite that quite well. That's a page, or just a double page in the middle. Do something with that. It's a bit more when while I had the willow stencil out, I just had a bit more paste left, so I used it up on that page. This page I made a little pocket out of an altered book page. That's a music book. I don't know if you can see. And what did I say about not using glitter? Yeah, the glitter came out, didn't it? Well, you can't really have a fairy without glitter. And I wasn't actually putting it on the girl here. It was actually on the raindrops that are dripping down. So that was on rice paper. So I put pasted the rice paper onto the altered book page and put a little bit of lace. And actually, trying to get the lace to stay in the right place took longer than making the whole of the rest of the page put together. Now this page, this was just the back of the material, and I think I'm going to have to do the magnet trick again with that. Then this page I just made another little pocket to go in there, and stamped it. And that's a bit more of the old Chambers journal. Need to do a little bit more on this. I'd like to do some stitching around here, but I can't lift my sewing machine. It's really heavy, so I've got to wait until somebody can lift it up onto a table for me. So that is a sort of partially done, and there's a bit of journaling space on the back of that. So that, oh, there's another page there. Haven't done anything with that yet. So that's the first signature. Now the second signature, I'm not over happy with this page, but the reason I did it, I'd already got that page where it said Beehive, and it was advertising a men's outfitters or something. So after Luise did that incredible thing with the bee, I wanted to try it out. And if you haven't seen it, I would go and look at Luise's video. I'd already got the glaze, it's the clear glaze, and that you can see on the wings, that has really worked. But the crystal, that has worked. I don't know if this is coming out in the camera, but I'd got fluffy sort of little teasel type flowers here, so I put some on that as well. I just don't know if that's coming. Is that coming out? It started to go a little bit frosty down there, but that was because as I was heating it for this, some of the heat went over to there. But it does definitely give the bee a sort of fuzzy, fluffy, furry coat. It really does work. But I can't see if this is coming out in the camera. So I'm not quite sure that I finished that page. It's something and I still want to do, but I'm not sure what. So inside, this was the military photograph page that we looked at last time. And I just made another vellum pocket, and I put some of the washi tape on that. Again, it's just all reflections. I hope it's not too bad. But that was some of the pet washi tape, which is expensive. Do you ever have washi tape that you think, oh, I absolutely love that, it was really expensive, and then you feel you don't want to use it because it was so expensive? Well, that's a piece of that. And I thought, well, if not now, then when? So my posh washi came out for that. So this is another little page. I don't know if I bring the camera down a bit. I just don't want to keep going out. There we go. That's slightly better. This page just started out. It was a blank page, and I just wanted to put something on it. So I started off with stenciling, bit of stormy sky, and you've got the silver birch trees in there. And I had a couple of stamps floating about on the desk, so I put those up here and along there. And I wanted to put a log on the bottom down here. And I thought, well, I want somebody sitting on the log or walking past the log. And so I looked through my stash, and I'd got a little hedgehog, black and white hedgehog. So I got out the Prismacolor pencils, coloured him in, and then put some moss on the log and gave him some little leaves to run along. So now my little leaves keep dropping off, just like the glitter. So by the time I finish this journal, I'm going to have bits of glitter, leaves, goodness knows what, falling out of it. So this is another magnet coming on, look. So leave that there. That's still a blank page. So as I say, there's still quite a bit to do with some of these. This is another page. Here I tried doing something creative with a doily, and I've come to the conclusion that doilies and I just don't seem to mix. So it went a bit wrong. So I stuck some of the Tim Holtz ideology paper on top of the doily and turned it into a pocket. So it is a bit of a deep pocket. So again, not really quite finished. A bit more of one of my own printables, and the back of the roll blind material. And it's just a sort of blank page still at the moment. And this one, I don't know if you can see, but there's sort of little veins in there. It was a flower, but it turned out it seemed to vein the whole page, which Has quite a nice effect actually. That was peacock feathers I used for that. But I want to sew some buttons on there, so that will progress. On to the third signature. And again, that I just distressed it a bit. And we already, if you might remember, we'd already got this wonderful mark on the original document. So I just made it, and I've done the same with that. It's a bit of stamping with the vintage photo on that. So that was my ancestors, for those of you that haven't seen the other video, from 1903. It's another one of my little mini pages. So I think that's the rice paper. That was another little altered book page where I printed some flowers onto some rice paper, then put the rice paper onto the little pocket and did a bit of stenciling. This is still as is, and then that's just one of my printables for the middle page. And this page was interesting. This is the mulberry paper. Now, a word of warning that I've discovered using mulberry paper: if you stick something down, which I did, I stuck this on, but because this is so thin and delicate and it absorbs water, it also absorbs glue. So you find the back of the page where you've stuck this on, the glue comes through. So don't put it down like that, because I discovered the hard way, and then that sticks. So what I then did, I put a piece of baking parchment across there so it doesn't stick to it, and then you can take it out when it's dry. But this pocket was interesting. One hot summer I decided to dye a lot of calico to make some faux sari silk for tying up the journals and putting bows on journals and things. Quite a messy process, but a lot of what I do is very, very messy. Unfortunately, it just seems to be I create a mess. But I think a lot of people in art journaling are quite happy making a mess, aren't we? And it was a very hot summer's day, and I was doing it out in the garden, and I'd used brushos to dye the faux sari silk with. And at the end of it, I was clearing up. I got a lot of kitchen roll, which I was blotting all the brusho paints up with, and I just had a great big ball of sort of soggy kitchen roll. And it was a very, very hot day, which is unusual here in the UK, but we had a really hot day. And I'd left the ball of this outside, and it started to dry in the sun, and I thought, well, that's really, really pretty. I like that. So I dried it all out and stuck it on to the back of a piece of card, and it's been useful. I cut some birds out. I think it was the 2022 Dephemerember. And I cut some of the little Tim Holtz birds out of that material. But when you think that is just old kitchen roll that was just going to be thrown into the dustbin after I've finished, it's too good to waste. That's another little page. Don't know what I'm doing. I just did a bit of stenciling onto the top of that. And that is another little, I put some washi tape down the side of that. So that's that one. And then the last signature is this one. This is a page I don't think you saw before in the other journal because I hadn't put it on. I love this. This is one of my digital printables. And it is incredible. I don't know how well that's coming out in the camera. By my snow fox. I love my snow fox. Now, on the back, I did a butterfly. It's in the same series as this, but something interesting happened when I printed it out. Look at that. Can you see? It's almost the wings of the butterfly look iridescent, and I haven't put any mica. I haven't sprayed mica onto it. I haven't done anything at all, and and it is just came out with this almost iridescent colour. Now I have printed that onto photo paper, so that might have made a difference. It's another piece of my homemade vellum that I mentioned last time. That's the other side of it. I just did another pocket on there, a bit of lace in the pocket, and that was some mica paper that I made a couple of years ago. A bit more of that. This was the altered book page that you saw before, so I've here's the glitter. This is what is really falling out, but there we go. I've got another glittery fairy. As I've just said, you have fairies, you have glitter, so I live with that. But on the back of that, so that was a fairy that I printed out onto rice paper and then stuck her on there. That is one of my digi prints. And this was a sort of a happy accident as I was making the journal. You might remember from the last one that I did, the last video, that this was from the 1901 census with my ancestors on here, and we have my grandma Rose and her sister, Amy, who was my great auntie Amy, who I remember. And when Amy, she was at school here, it just says scholar, but when she grew up, she became a dressmaker. And when I was little, she used to make summer dresses for me. And one of my summer dresses was so similar to this pattern. This was just a bit of scrap I had, and I just wanted another smaller page. And I just shoved this, which, as I say, you can see it's sort of, it started off as an embossed envelope really, and I'd coloured a bit of it, and I just shoved it in there, and I thought, I don't know, this reminds me very much of my summer dresses. So that's supposed to go opposite great auntie Amy. So and then we can do something with that. And that was just a standard envelope. For those of you who live in the UK, it was just from Wilko's. Ever so cheap, but look what you can do with that. Must stick washi tape down. Note to self. And that was, I think you saw that last time, and I've backed that with some of the mulberry paper. So I think we're coming to the end of that. Is a half finished page. It's my forest. That is the back of that page. Again, it was just rice paper and stamped a little moth who's being drawn to the light up there. Little hedgehog down here, another little hedgehog on a pocket. The pocket's gone a bit skew, hasn't it? I don't want to turn it round. Don't be OCD. Just leave it. It's creative art. It's supposed to be slightly on the skew. Yeah, creative license. Now, this is another interesting thing that I found that happened. I stenciled some modelling paste. This is Gatherings. It's a Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous Gatherings stencil. And I'd got some vintage photo which was already on the stencil. And as you know, if you do that, or you might not know, but if you've already got a bit of ink on the stencil, as you put the modelling paste through it, it picks up the colour of, in this case, vintage photo. But that almost looks like gold, as if I've gone over that with gold paint, although I haven't. And I think it's because I've put it on top of my vellum. And so that created a whole new thing. And on this one, this is just scraps of paper where you've been doing inking and you've got a bit of scrap paper. So 2 pieces of scrap paper that almost looks like a little bird flying into a cave, and you've got the sunlight. He's in the cave and he's flying out. It's strange what you can see, isn't it, in just random marks of ink. So we've actually got a pocket in here and a pocket in there. And then that is the back of my digi printable, and then that is the other fox on that side. So that sort of concludes my signatures, which I shall be working on throughout Dephemerember, and it's not long now to wait, is it? So thank you very much for watching, and if you've enjoyed the video, be great if you could give me a thumbs up just for the YouTube algorithm. And as I say, this channel will never be monetized. It's just a hobby which I just want to share with other like-minded people. But as I say, if you've enjoyed it, you can give me a thumbs up. That would be great. Anyway, lovely to have your company, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.